4 Phoenixes, you're probably going to lose. You got to definitely have superior numbers in a fight to, cancel out that factor.
Yeah, and at that point, you're dictating where his army is, and
Exactly.
you have a clear advantage. So,
yeah, I actually felt pretty comfortable at this point because I transitioned decently into an expo, and meanwhile I'm, like you said, dictating where his army is. He can't really push on me because if he does, I can just go to his main, kill a bunch of drones, bounce back to my main, and defend his push.
Absolutely, yeah. And you're pulling up a Dark Shrine here. What are your thoughts? Are you going to warp some in, or just use them to harass some more and force him to use more larva on drones and overlords?
I thought he was doing like some kind of timing push against me, I think. And then I was like, well, I can harass him too because I'm already harassing him with Phoenixes, so I could harass him with DTs and snipe Overseers and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I felt like at the time it could do a lot of things for me. Like it could defend a push if he doesn't have an Overseer, then it could harass him, it could, pick off units, it can scout, it's a lot of good stuff DTs can do.
Yeah, so if we look at the units lost tab, he's got, such a disadvantage at this point. That's clear indication that your harassment is working very well. Army tab, you are ahead. Income tab, he's slightly ahead, but that's because he's had to constantly produce more and more drones. So he's actually now transferring all his drones because your Dark Templar are in his base. He's getting 2 Overseers up, one in his natural and in his main. Do you feel like the Dark Templars did or justified though?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I don't know how many drones they killed, but it was a lot, and then he had to like pull his workers, and slowly but surely I'm getting my expo up to like 100%, and I'm tacking to other things, so he's constantly trying to defend what I'm doing, harassment-wise, pressuring, he's totally on the back foot while I'm in complete control.
For sure, and now he's actually taking these rocks down. What are your feelings on these rocks in this map? Do you feel like you need to watch them over a lot, or are they kind of a minuscule part of the overall picture?
Oh, in this situation, they're not really that important because it's a shorter path for him to my base, but it's a shorter path from my base to his too. So, I mean, for him, it's probably worse to fight in this path just because usually Protoss on a head-to-head fight are going to want a smaller choke, and Zerg's always going to want to, overwhelm and spread out because they don't really have those, really splashy units when Protoss has, like, Colossus, Storm, Force Fields, those units that really control those small chokes. So the rocks are like a good thing, I guess, for me because I would rather fight in between these rocks than in an open area, but I don't think they come into too much of a factor this game.
So he's got a Roach Warren up, and now he's actually throwing up a Spire as well. Do you think he just needs a good diverse army to be able to handle you at this point, or why do you think he's doing that?
I'm not sure why he got the Spire. I mean, I got 4 Phoenixes, which, isn't that much. I mean, if he built like 10 Mutalisk, obviously he would destroy me. Yeah. But I can easily, he sees like I got like 8 Warp Gates. I mean, I could just easily drop down 8 Stalkers. So Mutalisks aren't really a problem. I mean, maybe in his mind he thought I was gonna get Colossus. I'm not really sure. I mean, PvZ, all you see nowadays is this like +2, +3 Colossus push thing. So, I mean, maybe that's his thinking, is that he's just preparing to pump out some Corruptors.
So you hid some of these this Templar archives, and now you've got some Templar out in the field with Storm. How are your feelings on Storm versus StarCraft 1 Storm?
Well, obviously I prefer StarCraft 1 Storm. I mean, StarCraft 1 Storm's like the sweetest thing ever. StarCraft 2 Storm is not as good, obviously, but it's really not as bad as people think. I think it's going to become as widely used as it was in StarCraft 1.
Oh, for sure.
People are going to learn it has its uses, especially since the High Templar can come out when they have the energy upgrade with 75 energy already, and they can be warped in, which, causes a lot of drop shit play and, warping in play.
Ooh, some nice storms going down here. A couple bad ones and a couple good ones. How do you feel your skill is on storming at this point?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, any SC1 player that had to use a lot of storms is going to be like, well, you StarCraft 2 players, you got your smart cast, how can you ever mess up? But I feel like the action in StarCraft 2, the pace of battles is a lot faster.
I feel that too, actually.
So I mean, I don't know. I think my storms are pretty good. I think they're better than most people. I don't see too many people that can storm a lot better than me. But all around, I love storm.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I used to have a bad computer not too long ago, and I could never get storm because it lagged me. Like I would call it down, and it would lag me. So I'd be like, I can't go this. This just sucks. And that's
an
what I was
unfair
going like.
advantage.
Yeah, I was going like that Colossus build all the time and stuff.
Oh.
And now that my computer doesn't suck, I'm like, freaking Storm's like so pretty, man. I gotta get it. It just looks so cool. So
So I'm gonna play a game against you, but you have to use your old computer so that I can limit
Honest,
you the
my-
amount of builds.
yeah, like my old computer is. I used to do those all-in kind of builds that I was famous for, and I kind of came onto the scene as that player. Like a lot of top players even were like, this HuK guy, maybe he's winning some things, but he's not going to be here in like a month or two because all he does is these all-in builds. But the only reason I did them is because my computer couldn't handle anything over like 100 supply. So I'd be like, I gotta win or I'm just gonna lose because I can't micro anything. So I kind of stretched on choices here.
Well, I'm glad you got a better computer, and I probably would have donated to help that cause because I want to see more pro StarCraft 1 players.
Yeah, a lot of people did. So shout out to who you are if you donated to me. So thank you a lot. It wasn't that expensive. I got like a deal from a friend that lives in Quebec, and he gave me his old computer. It's not like brand new or anything, but it's good enough.
It's definitely better.
Yeah.
All right. One thing I was actually noticing is you've kind of moved away from your aggressive harassment into more of a passive stance. What are your feelings on being the aggressor versus being passive?
Well, you can be passive when you feel like you're ahead, or you feel like they're too far ahead that you can't come out of your base. Like if they had like burrowed roaches or something, and you get stuck, because if you get surrounded with like speedlings or burrowed roaches, you're committing to a fight. Either way, you're taking a lot of losses if they get you out of position. So if you don't feel safe coming out of your base, that's when you got to be passive. Or if you like have this huge lead, but you can't finish the game because they're like turtling, or they're gonna force field their ramp, or they're Terran and they got like 30 tanks piled up. You don't want to commit to a battle that you're gonna lose, and then all of a sudden they're back in the game. I think I was playing passive here just because I could take free units with my Phoenixes, and I felt like I was pretty even in every other sense of the way.
And now,
So
sorry. And now he's a base up on you, and you do notice that, so you have to take your expansion. Do you still feel okay though, or?
Yeah, well, I know I'm almost maxed, so I mean I know like he can't be that far ahead. At worst, he's maxed too, and
enough, yeah.
my upgrades are pretty good. I feel okay. Yeah.
Lots of storms. Ooh, you're actually storming the burrowed roaches, but they hit your own units. Is that detrimental, or do you think that was beneficial?
I don't know. The thing about burrowed roaches is you don't do enough damage to actually hurt the roaches. Like, Storm's not strong enough. If they're burrowed, that they actually heal faster, or they heal just as fast as you do damage. But I don't know. I was like, I don't like this kid submarining under my unit, so I'm gonna storm him some more. And then when he gets up, I'm just gonna storm him. I think I hit like maybe 10, 15 of his units and only like 2 to 5 of my units.
Oh,
so
good,
yeah,
So
I guess it wasn't that bad.
you're really utilizing these Phoenix with your army, and that's an awesome thing. I don't see that used enough. I mean, we did see that in a couple of Day 9's dailies, but I don't